The alien medical room was cold, bright, and silent until the moment Riley froze like someone had just whispered the end of the universe into her ear. She stared at the holographic scan floating above the human named Evan. Her purple eyes widened. Her glowing blue cheek marks flickered, and her tail stiffened like a rod. Every alien doctor, every guard, every assistant turned their heads toward her, waiting for an explanation. Riley slowly lifted her hand and pointed at the scan, her voice trembling with shock and excitement. "Human, you have 2 balls?" she whispered. The room became so quiet it felt like even the machines held their breath. Riley stepped closer, examining the biological scan as if it was sacred treasure. "Our men have only one. Only one." Her voice was filled with wonder, confusion, and something else no one could read. Evan, still sitting on the medical table with shining metal cuffs around his wrists, blinked nervously. Is that a problem?" No one answered him, because everyone was staring at Riley. Because Riley was not just any alien girl. She was the princess of the Lumerian star lineage, a royal bloodline known for rare instincts, rare power and rare emotions. And Princess Riley had just found something rare in a human, a trait her people valued more than gold or power, a trait that could change everything. The chief doctor took a step forward and cleared his throat carefully. "Princess, do you wish to continue the examination?" Riley didn't speak. She simply kept staring at the scan like she'd discovered a secret universe. Her glowing markings brightened, pulsing with slow rhythmic light. The guards exchanged worried looks. The doctor looked terrified, because this reaction, the glowing only, happened when a princess experienced deep instinct. The instinct of choosing. The instinct of bonding. Evan had no idea what danger he was standing in. He thought this was a simple medical check after the crash that stranded him near their ship. He didn't know that Lemurians valued biological rarity so much that wars were fought over it. He didn't know that their young princess was entering her awakening phase, a period when her instincts looked for a genetically compatible partner he didn't know any of. This. He only knew that a very beautiful purple-skinned alien girl was staring at him like he was a glowing diamond. "Human," Riley said softly, stepping closer. "Does your species all have 2? Evan coughed. Yes?" Her eyes sparkled like newborn stars. "That is extraordinary." One of the guards gulped. "Princess, maybe we should." "Silence," she said softly. The guard shut up instantly. Riley finally lifted her gaze from the scan and looked at Evan properly for the first time. Not as a patient, not as a rescued stranger, but as something precious. A strange smile touched her lips. "Human Evan, you have saved our supply pod. You repaired our engine despite never seeing our technology. And now this." She gestured toward the glowing scan. 2 spheres of life. Evan turned red. "Please don't call them that." She ignored his embarrassment. "This makes you rare," she whispered. The doctor swallowed. "Princess, we should inform the High Council. This is important genetic." Riley's eyes flashed dangerously. "No." Everyone froze. "No one tells the council," she said. "Not yet." The doctor stepped back immediately. Riley slowly walked around Evan, studying him like he carried secrets inside his bones. Her glowing marks grew brighter each time she circled closer. She leaned in just slightly, her voice lowering. "You are unusually shaped, human. And your spirit feels strong." Evan tried to laugh. "I try." But Riley did not joke. Her eyes softened. "I felt something when we pulled you from the crash. Your heartbeat was warm, alive, different from ours. I did not understand it then." She touched her chest lightly. "But now I do." The guards exchanged nervous glances. One guard whispered, "Her instincts are activating." Another hissed, "She's choosing him." The chief doctor whispered in fear, "If the princess chooses him, the council will explode." Silence. Riley said again. Every alien shut their mouth instantly. She turned back to Evan. "Human, you do not know our customs. But when my markings glow like this," she placed her hand over the bright streaks on her cheek, "it means my instincts recognize compatibility." Compatibility? Evan repeated. "Yes," she said softly. "A possible partner." He almost fell off the table. Before he could respond, heavy footsteps echoed through the hall. The sliding metal door opened, revealing a tall figure in silver armor, the captain of the starship. He looked from Evan to Riley to the glowing scan, and he understood. Everything immediately. His face darkened. "Princess, this is serious." Riley lifted her chin confidently. "I know." The captain shook his head. "If the council learns a human awakened your instinct, they will demand he be studied. Or taken." Evan's stomach dropped. Taken? Taken where? But Riley moved in front of him protectively, her markings bright like burning skyfire. "No one will touch him," she said. "He is under my protection." The captain stared at her for a long tense moment. Then he sighed heavily. "If the princess is interested in you." "Human." He looked at Evan with a mixture of pity and fear. "Then your fate has changed." Evan swallowed hard. He didn't know what had just happened. He didn't know what was coming. He only knew one thing. Whatever this alien girl had discovered about him, it had just thrown his life into danger and into her hands. Asterisk felt different after the discovery. Every hallway Evan walked through suddenly had eyes watching him, not with curiosity, but with fear, envy, and suspicion. Whispers followed him like shadows. "That's the human." The princess marked him with her glow. "He has two. You know, he's rare. Too rare." Evan tried to pretend everything was normal, but nothing about this flying metal city was normal anymore. The guards who once ignored him now walked behind him carefully, like he was a fragile relic that might break or explode any moment. But the strangest part of all was Riley. The princess followed him everywhere, not loudly, not aggressively, quietly, like a cat curious about a new creature. Whenever Evan stopped, she stopped. Whenever he walked, she walked. Sometimes she circled him, studying his movements like she was memorizing every detail. It made him nervous. "Princess," Evan said at one point, trying to sound polite, "I'm just going to the cafeteria." "I know," she replied simply. Still following him. "You don't have to. I want to." Her glowing cheek marks flickered every time she looked at him. The lights on her skin pulsed softly, like a heartbeat. Evan noticed that whenever someone else came too close to him, those glowing lines brightened sharply, like a warning. On the ship, the rumors spread faster than light. The princess's instincts were awakening. And the human was the reason. Inside the cafeteria, the tension became even clearer. Conversations died the moment Evan and Riley entered. A few alien males looked annoyed. Others looked threatened. The females watched Riley closely, waiting to see what she'd do. Evan picked up a glowing drink. Trying to ignore the stares, Riley sat across from him, chin resting on her hand, staring directly into his face. "So, humans eat 3 meals a day?" she asked, fascinated. Double quotes. "Yes," Evan replied, unsure how to act under royal surveillance. "In my culture," she said softly, "sharing meals is for bonded pairs." Evan nearly choked. "This isn't a date. I'm just hungry." "I know," she said calmly. "I am simply observing you." But her tail flicked happily behind her, exposing the truth. That's when Commander Veeler, a strict, battle-scarred alien officer, approached the table. His silver armor clinked as he stepped forward. "Princess," he said sternly, You are spending too much time with the human. Riley's eyes narrowed. I do what I want. Wheeler continued, ignoring Evan completely. Your markings have been glowing non-stop. This is not stable behavior. My instincts are reacting, she said calmly. That is normal. For you, maybe, Wheeler whispered, leaning closer. But the crew is uneasy. They think you are choosing him. Rayleigh's glow intensified. I have not made my choice yet, she said, but I am not rejecting him. Wheeler's jaw tightened. Princess, he is human. He does not understand our laws, our customs, our biology. He will cause chaos. If chaos comes, Riley replied, I will defend him. Wheeler's voice dropped low, threatening. If the council hears about this, they might take him away. They may even— Commander, Riley interrupted, her voice icy. Finish that sentence. And I will remove you from this ship. That silenced him instantly. Wheeler glared at Evan before walking away. Evan let out a shaky breath. Princess, I don't want people fighting because of me. She tilted her head. But they already are. And she wasn't wrong. Later, as Evan walked down one of the ship's long corridors, 2 alien soldiers blocked his path. Their expressions were cold. You are causing trouble, human, one said. You don't belong near the princess, the other added. Evan raised his hands. Look, I didn't ask for any of this. Suddenly both guards stepped back as glowing light filled the hallway. Riley appeared behind Evan, eyes sharp, markings blazing with royal fire. Is there a problem? She asked softly. The guards bowed immediately. No, princess. She walked past them and stood extremely close to Evan, almost protective. The guards backed away, intimidated by her rising power. Once the hallway cleared, Evan whispered, You didn't have to do that. Yes, I did, she replied. Your presence threatens them. Your biology confuses them. Your rarity scares them. She placed her hand lightly on his forearm. But it interests me. Evan swallowed, unsure if that was comforting or terrifying. Riley leaned in just slightly, her voice soft and honest. You do not understand our world, human. But remember this, any threat to you is a threat to me. A soft hum traveled through the walls, signaling a ship-wide announcement. The captain's voice echoed. Attention, crew. A message from the High Council is incoming. They have detected an anomaly on board, and they demand answers. Riley's expression hardened. Evan felt a chill run down his spine. The council was coming. For him. The High Council's message changed the mood of the entire ship. Lights dimmed. Guards rushed through the corridors. Officers whispered in corners. Everyone felt the pressure rising like a storm, preparing to break. Evan, however, felt something completely different: fear. He had no idea how powerful this council was, but from the reaction of the crew, it was clear. These people could decide his fate with a single sentence. Riley didn't speak as she walked beside him. Her glowing markings pulsed with tension, brighter than before. She moved like someone preparing for battle, not a simple meeting. Finally, Evan couldn't take the silence anymore. Riley, what does the council want with me? He asked. She stopped walking and turned to him slowly. They want to classify you. Classify, like, as a species? As a resource, she corrected softly. Evan's heart dropped. That sounds bad. It is, she said without hiding it. If they decide you are too rare, too valuable, they will take you, no matter what I say. He swallowed hard. And your instinct? Is it still reacting? Her cheek marks glowed even brighter at the question. Yes, it reacts every time you speak. Every time you breathe near me. He stepped back slightly. Should I keep my distance? Riley shook her head firmly. No, my instinct is not something I run from. And I will not let anyone take advantage of it. She took a deep breath, then spoke with a seriousness Evan hadn't heard from her before. There is one way to protect you, he blinked. What way? Ryla reached toward his wrist, her fingers glowing with soft blue light. Evan felt a strange energy in the air, like static electricity building between their skin. A royal mark, she said. Evan froze. A what? It is our ancient symbol of protection, she explained. A declaration that someone belongs under my star, under my shield, under my name. Sounds very serious. It is, she said. Once marked, no one can touch you without challenging me directly. Not even the council. Evan hesitated. Riley, are you sure? Wouldn't this cause trouble for you? Yes, she said simply. But I would rather face trouble than let you be taken. Before Evan could answer, she gently pressed her fingertips against his wrist. A spark of blue light flashed. Evan gasped as warmth spread through his arm. The glow traveled up his skin, forming a thin, swirling pattern shaped like two crossing stars. It pulsed softly, matching the rhythm of Riley's markings. He stared at it in shock. What did you just do to me? You carry my sigil now, she said quietly. Anyone who sees it will know that you are mine to protect. Evan felt his pulse pound. Mine to protect. That sounded like more than just safety. But before he could speak, a loud alarm echoed across the ship. Princess Riley, a voice called over the intercom. Please report to the Central Hall. The High Council demands immediate presence. Riley grabbed Evan's hand without hesitation. Stay close. He nodded, trying to ignore the new mark still tingling on his wrist. The Central Hall. The hall was massive tall walls, glowing pillars, floating symbols representing different alien clans. Soldiers lined the sides as if expecting a war to break out. A huge circular hologram flickered in the center. 6 Alien Council. Members appeared inside it, each with glowing eyes and cold expressions. The moment their gaze fell on Evan, the temperature in the room seemed to drop. Counselor Theres spoke first. Is this the human? Riley stepped in front of him instantly. Yes, and he is under my protection. The council murmured. Princess. Theres said slowly, we have detected an unusual genetic trait in this human. A trait our species has sought for centuries. Evan felt like a mouse surrounded by hawks. Another counselor leaned forward. We demand access for full study. No, Riley said sharply. The hall fell into silence. No? Theres repeated. He is marked, she said, lifting Evan's wrist so the glowing sigil could be seen. By me. Gasps spread through the room. Some soldiers stepped back. Even the captain widened his eyes in disbelief. Theres slammed his staff down. Princess. You dare perform the ancient marking without permission? It was my decision, Riley said, unshaken. You have thrown the balance of power into chaos, another counselor hissed. Do you understand what you have done? Riley's eyes glowed fiercely. I understand that he is mine to defend. Evan's breath caught in his throat. The counselors whispered among themselves, their voices sharp and angry. Then Theres raised his hand. Very well. The human will remain on the ship for now. But we will be sending inspectors. And if he proves dangerous, or unstable, or politically valuable, he stared directly at Evan. We will not hesitate to take him. Riley stepped forward. If you touch him, you will face me. Her glow exploded into brilliant blue light, filling the entire hall. The council flickered and disappeared, ending the transmission. Silence. Heavy. Tense. Electric. The captain approached carefully. Princess, you have made a powerful enemy today. Riley turned to Evan, her expression gentle but determined. Let them come, she whispered. They will not take you. Evan looked at the glowing mark on his wrist. He wasn't just a visitor anymore. He had just become part of a royal conflict, and the center of an alien instinct he barely understood. The days after the council's transmission were filled with tension. It felt like the entire ship was holding its breath. Soldiers patrolled more aggressively. Officers spoke in tight, hushed voices. And everywhere Evan walked, eyes followed him, not with curiosity anymore, but with calculation. He was no longer just a strange visitor. He was a political weapon, and weapons were valuable and dangerous. Riley stayed near him constantly. Her glow remained bright, warning anyone who came too close. But even she couldn't control everything happening on the ship, because as the council debated, another faction within the ship was preparing something far worse. The ambush. Evan and Riley were in the engineering bay when the attack began. Evan was helping repair a converter, using tools he barely understood, but learning fast when the lights flickered. A deep alarm boomed across the ship. Riley immediately stiffened. That is not a drill. The doors slammed shut. Red emergency lights flashed. Evan felt the air crackle with electricity. Riley. What's happening? She listened, her eyes narrowing. Someone disabled the security grid. She looked at him sharply. Stay behind me. The engineering bay door suddenly sparked and exploded inward. 3 armored aliens marched through, weapons humming with lethal energy. They didn't look like normal guards. They looked like hunters. The leader pointed at Evan. There, the rare one. Riley stepped between them and Evan instantly, her markings flaring bright blue. You dare invade my bay? You dare touch what is marked by the princess? The leader smirked. Princess? Your mark means nothing to us. The council wants him, and we will deliver. Over my body, she hissed. That can be arranged. The intruders charged. Riley's power awakens. One soldier swung a plasma blade straight at Riley. But she moved like lightning, spinning, ducking, blocking with her forearm. Her glowing markings surged brighter with every strike she parried. Evan stared in shock. She looked almost weightless, fighting with a balance that was both beautiful and terrifying. But there were 3 attackers, and only one of her. The leader aimed a stun cannon directly at Evan. Human, down! Riley shouted. Evan dove behind a storage crate as the cannon fired, sending a blast of bright white energy across the bay. Riley leaped in front of him, absorbing the hit with a shimmering blue shield that burst from her markings. She screamed softly, more from strain than pain. Evan crawled out, panicked. Riley, are you okay? Yes, she gasped. But their weapons drain my energy. I cannot shield you forever. One attacker lunged at Evan. Evan grabbed the nearest tool, a heavy wrench, and swung it wildly. It connected with the alien's helmet, knocking him backward. Riley blinked in surprise. You fought back? I'm not letting them take me, Evan said, gripping the wrench tightly. For a moment, her markings glowed with pride, but the attackers kept coming. The human trick they didn't expect. Evan noticed something the aliens didn't. The engineering bay floor was covered in small, scattered metal beads from earlier repairs, tiny, round, rolling hazards. Aliens didn't walk like humans. They had a different center of gravity. And they were terrible at balancing on loose objects. Evan shouted, Riley, push them toward the beads. She gave him a confused look for half a second, then understood. Riley dodged sideways, forcing her opponent to follow her. She jumped over the scattered beads with ease, but the attacker didn't see them. He stepped on the beads. His legs flew out from under him. He crashed onto the floor. Evan ran forward and slammed the wrench down on the stunned attacker's weapon, breaking it. Riley smiled at him, this rare, warm smile that made her glow even brighter. Your mind works in strange ways, human. Thank you, he said breathlessly. But the worst was still to come. The leader charged at them with a massive spear-like weapon glowing red, ready to kill. Riley pushed Evan aside. Stay back. She tried to summon her shield again, but her energy flickered. The earlier blast drained her too much. The leader lifted his weapon for a finishing strike. Evan didn't think. He didn't plan. He just moved. He sprinted forward, grabbed a metal support rod, and blocked the spear mid-swing. The impact rattled his bones, but he didn't let go. You will not take her, Evan shouted. The leader snarled. Why do you protect her? She is not even your species. Because she protects me. Evan yelled. Riley's eyes widened, the glow around her markings flaring intensely at his words. She rose with new strength, throwing out her hand. A blast of blue energy erupted, knocking the leader across the bay and slamming him into the wall. Silence. The attackers lay defeated. Riley's chest heaved with exhaustion. Evan rushed to her, helping her stay standing. You risked yourself, she whispered. You risk yourself for me every day, he said softly. I'm just returning the favor. Her glow softened into something gentle. Emotional. She leaned closer, her voice trembling with honesty. No one has ever protected me before. Evan swallowed. Well, get used to it. But outside the destroyed engineering bay, heavy footsteps echoed loudly. More enemies were coming, and this time, they weren't just after Evan. They were after both of them. Asterisk. The engineering bay still smelled like burned metal and broken circuits. Smoke floated in thin clouds. The last attacker lay unconscious, tied with glowing magnetic cuffs. But even with the danger cleared, the tension inside Evan's chest didn't disappear, because Riley was shaking, not from fear. Evan could tell she wasn't scared of the attackers. She was scared of something else. When Evan touched her shoulder, she flinched like she'd been pulled from deep thought. Her glowing blue markings flickered weakly. You okay? He asked gently. Riley nodded slowly, but her eyes were distant. The Council will see this attack as weakness. They will believe the ship cannot protect you. They will send more. And you? He asked. Are you hurt? My energy is low, she whispered. I need time to recover. Her voice, normally strong and confident, sounded softer, almost vulnerable. Evan looked around. The engineering bay wasn't safe anymore. Anyone could return. More enemies might be wearing friendly uniforms. He extended his hand. Come with me. Somewhere quiet. Riley hesitated, not because she didn't trust him, but because she wasn't used to accepting help. Then she took his hand. Her skin was warm. Her markings brightened slightly when their fingers touched. They walked through the ship in silence, avoiding crowded corridors, passing dim hallways lit by soft blue lights. Riley led him toward the upper deck, an area rarely used by the crew. After a long climb up a spiral staircase, they reached a small dome-shaped observation deck. Transparent walls opened the universe in every direction. Endless stars, nebulae swirling in pink and gold. A nearby moon reflecting pale light. It was peaceful, far from chaos, far from fear. Riley stepped toward the glass, placing her hand gently against it. The stars reflected in her glowing markings, making her look almost ethereal. This is my favorite place on the ship, she said quietly. No council, no guards, only the sky. Evan stood beside her. It's beautiful. Yes, she whispered. It is, but her voice wasn't talking about the stars. She turned toward him slowly, her expression conflicted. Evan, do you understand what happened today? Someone tried to kidnap me, he said. No, she said softly. Something else. She took a breath, her markings glowing slowly like a heartbeat. When the attackers struck, my instinct surged. My body reacted before I could think. My shield formed instantly around you. That's a good thing, Evan said, but she shook her head gently. Not for my people. When instinct protects someone so strongly, it means a choice is forming. A choice? Evan repeated. Yes. Her voice was barely above a whisper. A partner choice. Evan froze. Riley looked down at her hands. I did not plan this. I did not expect it. But my instincts are focusing on you. Evan felt heat spread through his face. Because of my biology? No, she said firmly, stepping closer. Not just that. Her voice deepened with emotion. You think I follow you because of your Rarity, that is not true. Her eyes softened. You helped us. You saved our damaged pod. You fixed our engine without knowing our technology. You fought to protect me today when anyone else would have run. She took another step forward. You are brave even when you are scared. You are honest even when you are confused. And you look at me not as a princess, but as someone real. Evan's heart pounded hard. Riley. Her markings glowed brighter. The blue light reflected across both of them, filling the room in gentle color. I feel something. When I am near you, she whispered. My markings respond. My instinct awakens. I do not know how to hide this anymore. Evan felt breathless. I feel something too. Her eyes widened, glowing softly. You do? Of course I do, he said. You protected me when you didn't have to. You treat me like more than a test subject. And when you marked me, I felt safe for the first time since I came aboard. Riley's voice trembled. I was afraid you would hate me for that. Hate you, Riley? You saved my life. A thin silence filled the air between them, soft, fragile, meaningful. The stars outside shimmered brighter. Riley stepped closer, standing only inches away. Her markings glowed so brightly they illuminated Evan's face. There is still something you don't know, she said quietly. What is it? In my culture, when a princess marks someone, it is usually because instinct sees a future with them. A future? Evan whispered. She nodded. A bond. Evan's breath caught. Riley reached up, gently touching his wrist where her sigil glowed. But I will not force you into anything. I want you to choose freely. Not because of fear, not because of danger, because you also feel something. Evan took her hand. Her markings flared bright blue against his skin. I do feel something, he said. More than I can explain. Riley's eyes softened. She looked like she wanted to come closer, but her energy was still weak from the attack. She leaned her head gently against his shoulder instead. For a moment, the universe felt silent. Safe. Warm. But that peace didn't last. A sudden alert echoed through the observation deck. Riley lifted her head sharply. The captain's voice came through the speakers. Urgent. Tense. Princess Human. We have a new problem. A warship is approaching. The Council's enforcement fleet. They are demanding your surrender. Riley's glow darkened into a fierce blue fire. They've come for you, she said. Then she looked at him with deep determination. Double quotes. No. They've come for us. Asterisk. The moment the captain's voice finished echoing through the observation deck, the atmosphere shifted. The stars outside no longer looked calm. They looked like cold eyes watching the unfolding war. Riley straightened herself, her markings glowing a deeper, sharp blue. She wasn't scared. She was furious. Evan, however, felt a knot form in his stomach. A warship? For us? No, Riley corrected softly. For you. But because you carry my mark, they will have to go through me. Before Evan could respond, the door slid open and the captain hurried in. Armor glowing with red emergency lines. Princess. Human, come with me, now. His voice was low, controlled, but heavy with urgency. Evan and Riley followed him down the corridors as the ship shook under the pressure of the enforced docking protocol. The hallways filled with soldiers preparing for confrontation. Why didn't the Council just order you to hand me over? Evan asked while walking. They cannot, Riley said. You are marked. The ancient laws protect you from being taken without challenge. So, they're coming to challenge you. Yes, she said. In front of thousands. Evan nearly tripped. Thousands? The captain nodded grimly. The Council brought their entire enforcement fleet. They want everyone to witness this decision. They want to show their power. They reached the central hall again, but this time it looked completely different. Floating platforms filled the air. Spectators from every department gathered. Screens displayed the incoming Council warship. Massive hologram of the High Council appeared at the center of the room. The audience bowed. Riley did not. Evan certainly did not. He was too scared to move. Theres. The lead counselor leaned forward, his voice booming through the hall. Princess Riley, you have disrespected our laws. You performed the royal marking ritual without permission. And your chosen subject, he glared at Evan, as a human. Gasps echoed across the room. He is not just a human, Riley said firmly. He is brave. He is intelligent. He saved our ship. And he saved me. Theris's eyes narrowed. This is instinct speaking, not logic. Instinct is part of who we are, she replied. You cannot punish me for that. Perhaps not, Theres said slowly. However, we can punish the one who triggered that instinct. Evan felt his blood run cold. 2 enforcement soldiers stepped forward, their weapons glowing. Riley jumped in front of Evan, markings blazing. If you touch him, you violate royal law. Theres raised a hand. Then we will settle this by the law itself. The hall grew silent. The right of evaluation. Evan whispered, that sounds friendly. The captain shook his head. It is not. Theres continued, we will test the human. Judge him. Examine him. Question him. If he is worthy of your instinct, he may stay. If not, he is taken. Evan swallowed. Taken where? Theres smiled coldly. To the Genetic League. To be studied. Evan felt his knees weaken. Riley stepped closer to him, gripping his wrist tightly, her glow surging. He is not an object. He is a person. And he will prove it, Theres said. If he fails, he is ours. If you interfere, you will lose your right to the throne. The entire hall gasped. Evan stared at her. Riley, you don't have to do this for me. She turned to him slowly, her eyes glowing with fierce determination. I do. Because this is not just about you. She lifted his marked wrist gently. This is about us. The trial begins. Evan was placed on a floating platform facing 6 council holograms. Riley stood behind him, hands folded, glowing fiercely. Thousands of eyes watched. Theres began the questioning. Human, why did you fight our attackers? Evan took a breath. Because someone fought for me first. Murmurs filled the hall. Why did you protect the princess? Another counselor demanded. Because she protected me, Evan answered. Because she risked herself. And because she matters to me. Rayleigh's markings flickered brightly at his words. Theres narrowed his eyes. And what do you want from the princess? Everyone leaned in. Evan looked at Riley, straight into her glowing eyes. I want her to be safe. I want her to be free. And I want to stand beside her, not because I'm rare, but because she chose me. A shocked hush fell over the room. One counselor whispered, his bond feels sincere. Another said, his instincts respond to hers. Theris's expression darkened. Enough, we will test his mind. A glowing orb appeared before Evan. Place your hand on it. Theres commanded. Evan touched it. Suddenly, the orb flashed bright and projected Evan's memories into the air. Memories of fixing the alien pod, saving Riley from falling debris, standing in front of the attacker with a metal rod, saying he would protect her. The audience gasped. Even the council seemed stunned. Theres clenched his teeth. This means nothing. But the orb glowed white, symbol of truth. Riley stepped forward. The ritual has spoken. Theres ignored her. Final judgment will be given tomorrow. Until then, the human stays under guard. Evan felt panic rise. Am I in danger? Yes, the captain said. If the council decides against you, They will take you by force. Riley stood close, her voice trembling with emotion. Evan, no matter what the council decides, I will fight for you. He stared at her. Why? He whispered. She touched the sigil on his wrist. Because you are not just rare to them. You are important to me. The hall lights dimmed as the trial ended, but outside the ship, the council warship powered up its weapons. The real battle was just beginning. The ship felt heavier the next morning. Not because of gravity, but because of fear. Every corridor Evan walked through had tense eyes watching him. Every officer moved quietly. Every soldier held their weapon tightly. The council warship outside, massive, sharp, glowing red, hovered like a predator waiting to strike. Riley had barely slept. Her markings were dim, but her determination was bright. She walked beside Evan, each step full of purpose. Today, she whispered, the council decides your fate. And maybe mine too. Evan nodded, though his heart was pounding. Whatever happens, we face it together. Her fingers brushed his the faintest touch, but her markings flashed softly at the contact. The judgment hall when they entered the central hall. It was packed, thousands of soldiers, engineers, medics, and citizens standing on floating platforms. The air smelled of tension and fear. At the center, the High Council's holograms glowed like blue fire. Theres spoke first. Human Evan, after reviewing your memories, actions, and influence on the princess, the council is divided. Divided. Half wanted him studied. Half wanted him killed. Half thought he was a danger. Evan swallowed. What does that mean? It means, Theres said coldly, we cannot agree. So we will use the old law. The room fell silent. Riley's eyes widened. No, not that law. Theres extended his hand. The trial of reality. Gasps echoed across the hall. That law hasn't been used in centuries. The captain whispered. It could kill him. Evan stepped forward bravely. What is the trial? Theres smiled coldly. A demonstration. If you can protect yourself and the princess when we release a controlled attack, you may stay. If not, Evan finished the sentence himself. I die. Riley pushed past him, fury burning in her markings. This is cruelty. He is not trained. He is not a soldier. Then he will fail, Theres replied simply. And he will be taken. The hall opened beneath them. A large circular combat arena extended upward, shimmering with blue barriers. Evan stood inside. Riley tried to enter, but the council blocked her. With a force field, you may not fight for him, Theres said. He must stand alone. Evan looked at her, fear rising like ice in his chest. You can't go in. He whispered. I'm sorry, she whispered back, voice shaking. But I'm here, watching. Every second. Her markings glowed with fierce protectiveness, like she wanted to break the entire arena with her bare hands. The trial begins. 3 mechanical constructs materialized, floating drones armed with stunners, energy blades, and binding ropes. They weren't meant to kill, but a misstep could. Evan grabbed a dropped metal bar from the arena floor. He had nothing else. The drones attacked instantly. The first one shot an energy net. Evan ducked but tripped. The net grazed his arm, burning it. Riley gasped loudly, slamming her hands against the barrier. Let me in. But she couldn't. Evan rolled, stood, and dodged another blast. His heart thundered in his ears. He moved not with skill but with desperation and raw survival instinct. One drone swooped behind him. Evan spun, swinging the metal bar and slamming it into the drone. Sparks exploded. The crowd gasped. Theres narrowed his eyes. Interesting. The second drone fired rapid pulses. Evan used the broken drone as shield. The pulses shattered its shell. Evan breathed hard. His whole body shook. But he kept fighting. The third drone charged with a blade. Evan ducked. Too late. The blade cut across his leg. Blood dripped. Riley screamed, "Stop! He's bleeding." Theris ignored her. "Continue." Evan staggered back, limping, breathing fast. The drone circled him again. He was losing badly. He looked up at Riley, her eyes glowing. Tears forming, her markings burning so bright they lit the room. She pressed her palms against the barrier, whispering desperately, "Evan, please don't give up. Don't leave me. Not now." Her voice wasn't loud, but Evan heard it. He felt it. Something inside him hardened. "No," he whispered through clenched teeth. "I'm not giving up." He dropped the metal bar. Instead, he grabbed the broken drone panel and used it like a reflector. When the second drone fired a pulse, Evan angled the panel. The blast bounced back, striking the third drone, shutting it down. The crowd roared. His single quotes as expression twisted. "How?" Riley whispered with a trembling smile. "Human intelligence. Human creativity." Evan charged, using the last of his strength. He jumped onto the second drone, ripped out its wires, and smashed it against the ground. Only one drone remained. His muscles screamed. Blood dripped from his leg and arm. But he stood tall. The final drone aimed straight at Riley behind the barrier. The blast wasn't aimed at Evan, it was aimed at her. Riley froze in shock. Evan moved. He leaped in front of the blast, taking it full to the chest. He crashed to the floor. Riley screamed so loud the hall shook. Her markings exploded with blinding blue fire. The barrier cracked, then shattered. She sprinted into the arena, dropping to her knees, lifting Evan's head gently. "No, no, no," she whispered, voice breaking. "Evan, open your eyes." He coughed weakly, pain shooting through him. But he smiled through it. "Did I pass?" Riley burst into tears. "You fool. You nearly died. But you're safe," he whispered. Her markings glowed intensely, a warm light covering his body. Her energy flowed into him, healing, soothing, warm like starlight. She held him close. "No council, no law, no fleet will ever take you from me." The entire hall fell silent. Theris stared, stunned. The bond between human and princess was undeniable, visible, powerful, glowing like living energy. "This," one counselor whispered, "is a new kind of fusion." Another said, "We cannot fight this. It is destiny." Finally Theris bowed his head. The council withdraws. The human stays. The hall erupted in cheers. Riley pressed her forehead gently against Evan's. "You are more than rare," she whispered. "You are my chosen one." Evan smiled softly. "And you're mine." The stars outside shined brighter than ever. Two worlds had changed forever, because one human and one alien girl chose each other against the universe.